I welcome in the Over Under podcast. We're about to record our total long college football broadcast coming up for the week. But it's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It means that there's Thursday night football, both in college football and in the NFL tonight. So nothing too riveting or exciting, but we do have divisional teams playing tonight in the NFL. And in college football, we have a ranked team, or at one point was a ranked team, playing up against a team that's 0-2 that's been struggling. So we'll get into both of those games, Dan. I say we save the NFL because that's on deck. I look at this Ohio team who plays UL Lafayette. Now, again, they're not a ranked team, but they probably should be.
Yep.
But they're 1-1. Obviously, 19.5-point favorites tonight, which I'm wondering if it's too many because of the way, right? This is what happens 2 weeks in, right? Or 3 weeks in. Sometimes we overvalue some of the teams because, like, Ohio's been down worse than I think we really thought this year.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yep.
So, like, you look at it, and you say, oh, wow, like, is this team being a little overvalued tonight? So I don't know. 20's a lot. The Raging Cajuns, though, they have been very good. Despite their loss, like I think they've been very good here. So just off the bat, without giving you any trends, research, any of that, 19.5 just seems a little high for this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, Ohio loses that game to Syracuse to open the season. I expected a lot more from this team. But then, last week I took Duquesne in a look-ahead spot, and I got a little too cute maybe with some other spots with Kennesaw and VMI. VMI was maybe one of my worst plays ever to own up to that. But the Duquesne play plus 28, plus 29, whatever, they win outright against Ohio. And I think that's because Ohio is on the road at at Lafayette this week. Very much in the look-ahead spot against the Raging Cajuns. This line actually opened at 22.5, Joe, for plus 22.5. Total was somewhere around 55. So you've seen the total go up a little bit. It actually hit 57.5 the other day. Now it's back down to 56.5. So I don't really love too much on the total. I'll definitely tell you that there's been a lot of people, a lot of sharp money coming in on the under, especially the last day or so. A lot of money coming in on the under. In terms of the bets, very very split. In terms of the bet percentage, but the money right now is coming in on Lafayette. This game this game has gone lower, but I'll tell you the sharps are absolutely on Ohio, and I think that again the reason is Ohio coming off that Syracuse loss. That was bad, but I do think last week was a legitimate look-ahead spot. The Raging Cajuns, that Texas game was really big for them, and they didn't show up. I really thought they would. They lose that game by 20. And then Nichols, I think it's going to be a very similar spot to Ohio. Now they're home, obviously, but it's a short week against a better team than Nichols, of course. And so they barely win 27-24. I think this Raging Cajuns team is good, but I think maybe they're a little bit overvalued from where they were. And I think Ohio, coming off that Syracuse loss and that terrible loss to Duquesne, I think they're probably a little bit undervalued. I'm not going to play Ohio at 19. If this was still at 20, I'd probably consider it. But I do think that Ohio is the right side in this one. I think they're also the sharp side without a doubt, without a question in my mind. That's the side that I would go tonight if I'm being forced to bet the game. And even at 19, obviously I'm trying to get that key number 20, 21, whatever. But I do think that Ohio plus 19 is still good enough. I think Lafayette or the Raging Cajuns, whatever you want to say, I think they win. But I wouldn't be shocked if this is a one-score game. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a 7-8 point game. Something like that late. And so that's what I think we're going to end up seeing tonight in this game. I understand, why everyone likes Lafayette tonight, and they're definitely getting, a lot of the big money. But I do think that's the way I would go. And then Joe, in the other game tonight, which is an FCS game, which I know is not really being hyped, Alabama A&M Bethune-Cookman. This opened as a pick'em, and then Bethune-Cookman went to -1. Quickly, Sharps jumped on the other side. Alabama A&M is now -4. You're seeing some 4.5s pop. If you were earlier today was 2.5, 3 points. So a lot of people don't chase the number don't chase the number there on Alabama A&M. I think once you're chasing the 4.5, that's too much. But the total on that one's 69 and a half. Not the worst look for an under, in my opinion. Not the worst look. Not going to be something I play. I have not been super solid this week, so I'm just going to be a little bit more selective than normal, and I'm gonna probably just ride that out. But I do kind of just wanted to talk about those two games. Obviously, the Lafayette game and the Lafayette Ohio game much more important. I wonder what Ohio is going to be without Frank Solich this season. I really do think that is a legitimate concern that they have started 0-2. Tim Albin, first-year head coach. What is this team going to be once they hit that conference schedule? And, next week they're on the road at Northwestern. So this team has a legitimate shot at starting 0-4, Joe. And if that's the case, I have a feeling they're going to be in route for a very tough conference schedule in the MAC this year, starting 0-4. Look out. But you might end up getting some value maybe against Akron or Central Michigan, one of those first two conference schedule weeks there.
Yeah, so just to kind of sum it up here for those wanting to know like a side or a pick or anything, Louisiana is the better team here, no doubt. Ohio is just in disarray since they've lost their coach. He steps down, boom, they haven't been good. And the only thing I will say is in their loss to Duquesne last week, they were down big time. And had needed a valiant comeback. So maybe their offense clicked a little bit there, but 38-17, what's that? That's what I got a crystal ball, Damon, right?
I think that would be 21. I'd say it's probably going to be a little bit less than that.
So. Yeah. So that number is going to go up. I think to 20. I think if it gets there, you might have to look Ohio.
I think that the key number there would be a 20. I don't think we're going to end up seeing that. The 20s have been pretty much gobbled up. You might see a 19.5 pop somewhere. I'm searching the board right now to see what we have. There is a 20 at Bookmaker, but it's heavily juiced. So I mean, I'm not going to be. This is not going to be a play for me tonight. Again, if you're asking me to choose a side, I'm probably taking Ohio with the points. And actually, no, Bookmaker is 19. I just logged in, so this is a little bit slow. You see 19.5 said 5 times. Bet Online, Bovada. So the 19.5s are coming up across the board. So maybe you might see a 20. If you want Ohio, I would wait. I would tell you wait for the 20. Anyways, all right. So NFL, I think that covers the college game. NFL, Joe, what are your thoughts tonight? I mean, the whole world loves the football team tonight. 63% of the spread bet, 73% of the money, 91% of the money line money, 59% of the money line bet. We've seen this thing go from 3 to 3.5 to 4. It's kind of bounced all around the number. We're seeing a lot of 4s pop up now. I liked the Giants at 3.5. I think at 4, again, this is another, again, at 4, I like it even a little bit more. I think that for me, this is a divisional game, divisional dog. I know they're on the road, but it does feel very kind of similar to that Patriots-Dolphins game last week, where you have, two quarterbacks who are very unproven. I say Heineke is still very unproven. And the Washington football team didn't really impress me week one. I don't know how you felt, Joe, but they didn't impress me. Now, getting slapped around by Teddy Bridgewater and the Denver Broncos isn't exactly impressive either. But, I look at this and say this is a divisional game, two teams that know each other very well. Daniel Jones has had a lot of success against this team in his career. And I just think that losing that game the way Washington did to the Chargers, who I thought were, probably should have won that game in a rout. I don't think the score is actually indicative of how that game went. If the Chargers don't drop a ton of passes and Herbert doesn't throw an interception, I think we're looking at a very different scoreline. So I know that Nelson put us up there. The stat, Daniel Jones 4-0 against the football team, but 0-5 in prime time. So there's going to be something there, unless it's a tie ball game. There's obviously going to be a change in those trends tonight, Joe. But I just think road dog in it really is a bounce back spot for both of them, but I thought the Giants played very well in the first half, and the game just got away from them. I didn't think the football team played very well, and I really thought that this is a pretty decent spot, in my opinion, to take a team like the Giants, especially against a backup quarterback. I don't know. This to me, I like the Giants in this spot. I'm not sure I'm ready to PP it, but I do think I lean the Giants in the 4.
So right off the bat, like if we're talking X's and O's, the Washington defensive line should destroy the Giants offensive line tonight.
Agreed.
They should absolutely destroy them. Second, backup quarterback, right? Taylor Heineke's in here tonight. I don't know if that's I don't know. What was the opening line for this? 6.5? What was I forget what it was here.
Well, the look ahead line was 3, so nothing really, or 2.5, excuse me. So it took up half a point. Moved to the 3, but it really has been bouncing around between the 3.5, 4. We're seeing the 4 spot for the first time tonight. There's definitely some sharper money on Washington. The public's on Washington. It feels very similar to that Patriots Jets game where you got the sharps and the pub on one side there. So I don't know. I think this is a game where I look at it and say, yeah, I expect the Washington defensive line to dominate. I expect this game to go that way. I think my favorite play in this game, Joe, is the under, and I don't know how you feel about the total. The total has dropped from 42.5, which is the opener, down to 40.5. So I kind of want. What are your thoughts tonight? Because I'm very interested to hear what you're feeling on this.
I think that because Heineke's starting, I don't think that's gonna I don't think the Washington needs to put up a lot of points. I feel like the Giants are going to be the team that needs to put up points. So therefore, to do it on the road, I think is going to be a difficult spot tonight. Now, some of the trends that we saw just a week ago. Road teams went 9-7 against the spread, so I don't know if that favors Washington. Then you mentioned the under, which we'll get into. But underdogs in general crushed week 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that sways things differently for week 2, and I guess it doesn't really matter. But there are some good things here for the Giants. Under Joe Judge, in games where they have fewer than 6 days of rest, they're 3-0 against the spread. When they play the NFC East under Joe Judge, the Giants are 5-1 against the spread. Now, Washington has struggled in this spot against the spread historically, last 9 games, I would say. So a lot of trends line up for the Giants tonight. I know you mentioned a couple of them just off the bat. The road team in the series, 5-1 against the spread, the last 6. And the Giants have covered 4 out of the last 5 and won 4 of the last 5 in Washington. The crazy thing is, this team has met 28 times, and the under is 20-8. So I don't know if that's short week, historic, whatever. Maybe just a simple thing. But check this one out that I wanted to throw out there quickly. In week 2, right, we always see what – I've been doing this over the last couple of weeks, week 1, week 2. The Giants are 1-8 against the spread the last 9 seasons in week 2. So I don't know. And when they're an underdog, dude, their last 5 games, they're 1-4 against the spread. So they really haven't been a dog that's been barking. And overall, they haven't been a good. They've been 1-4 against the spread the last 5 going back to last year. So in a way here, I like Washington and I like the under.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with the G-men in this one. I do, and it's probably the wrong side. I understand the defensive line of Washington should absolutely dominate the offensive line of the Giants, and I absolutely agree with that statement. That is going to be a massive weakness for the Giants coming into this game. But I do think sneakily the Giants defense has really dominated the defensive line or the offensive line of Washington the past couple of years. It's been the reason that I believe Daniel Jones and the Giants have won those games against the football team. Not to mention Terry McLaurin has really struggled against the Giants in these games. It's a Thursday night primetime game in a divisional game. I think this is one of those if you're forced to bet it. I'm looking at this from purely his perspective that I do think that the Giants are the side. Now I'm also considering potentially playing a teaser on this. If the Giants get to 4.5 tonight, I think teasing up the Giants to 10.5 really is not a terrible side either. In a potential teaser, if you like something else this week, yada yada yada. Please avoid, and we'll talk about it more on Saturday. Please avoid the Cincinnati tease. I know everyone and their mother loves the Cincinnati tease above 7. Look the fuck out. There is what I would probably say. But regardless, I think I'll go with the Giants. I'm not going to PP it, Joe. I'm not going to PP the under. I do lean Giants and under tonight, though. That'd be the way I go. And I also like Ohio, and I'll say I like Ohio in the over there. So yeah, Ohio in the over and Giants in the under.
One last thing, just to give out. I gave a lot out on the Giants. Well, the Washington football team is not so great as a favorite either. 1-6 against the spread as a favorite their last 7 games.
There it is.
And then 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games as a home favorite. And they do not play well early in the season, as they are 1-6 their last 7 games in September.
It's also a short week for a backup quarterback who you probably weren't prepping for a large portion of the season. I'm a big Heineke guy. I like him.
To your point on that, Joe Judge is 3-0 in these situations.
Yep. So good situational coach. Again, Judge comes from the Patriots organization. Regardless of how you feel about the Belichick tree, I do feel that coaches in this situation under Belichick get their teams ready in these situations. So I do like that. Again, backup quarterback, short week for Washington. They pulled, they lose week 1. What I felt was a game that they actually didn't play as well as the score reflected. And I felt that the Giants played a very good game in the first half and just didn't really have anything to show for it. And the game absolutely got away from the second half. They were terrible. The Broncos came out and dominated them. But I'm expecting a divisional game, a little bit of a different type of game. I do think that there's going to be a large portion of money coming in on Washington. I think they're going to be the consensus pick. You're probably going to see all the media guys on them and everything. I'll go against that tonight. I like the Giants. I lean the under as well. So,
and I see a lot different than whatever we got last week with the Tampa game. I don't see it being that high of a score. So that's all I got for you. All right, Dan. That was we tried to do 10 minutes, but it turned into 20. So that's the way it works. People chatted in, we answered their chats, and there you go for tonight. You want to PP in anything? Any PP?
I'm passing. By the way, when I said Terry McLaurin struggles against the Giants, I apologize. That was incorrect. McLaurin's actually been very good against the Giants in those games. I apologize. But however, we're going to find out what he is. We're going to find out how he does tonight, because I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit different of a game with Heineke and his quarterback. it's going to be slightly different than, say, an Alex Smith or, someone of that nature. So,
all right. We are about to do our weekly podcast talking every college football game for the week. And then obviously on Saturdays, we'll have our show and we'll kind of do the big games of the day. We'll sneak in what we can, what we like. But that's it for now. And should I give a pick for tonight, Dan?
It's up to you. I'm not in love with anything on the board. I'm going to be a little bit pickier this week, so it's up to you.
Yeah, plenty of other games out there. So bet smart tonight. Maybe a halftime bet. I don't know. All right, that's it for us. Check out our podcast. It'll be out in the next couple of hours here. He's Dan Lifshitz. I'm Joe Mario. We'll talk to you after.